Do any of the rest of you feel like you have to, take a moment to kind of get over some of the bad things that you deal with at work?
Horrible hemlining.
Well, Jenny, you're kind of an independent study because you work in fashion, and so which is kind of very different from what everyone else is doing. Do you find that there's a lot of challenges in being an organic designer and working in an industry that's about a lot of consumption?
Definitely. I mean, sometimes there is kind of this strange dichotomy you feel because you're kind of developing these products. Especially with Loyale, it's all like eco-conscious as well as socially conscious in terms of how we produce it. We then donate to a nonprofit, an environmental nonprofit. But you kind of are continuously developing a new line. I actually only do 2 lines a year. Many companies do 4. So it's it's tricky to be like, okay, consume less, but here's my new line. So that can be a real challenge. I think another big challenge though, overall with being an eco-designer is just that the marketplace, people are beginning to really warm up to the idea and understand the concept of what organic means, but there's still this kind of dearth of education as to what organic means. Why do I need to buy organic cotton? Because it's using up 25% of the world's insecticides. It's just one chemical element of it. There's so much education that needs to take place that sometimes you can kind of be struggling against the machine in terms of explaining things. Why is Loyale special? How is your company different from every other, contemporary fashion company? And then you have the limitation of what resources you can use. I can only really use certified organic cotton. Some kind of, sustainable fabrics are up to my standards. I kind of keep a really high level of standards, and it can be a huge challenge getting the right research and certifications, and also create a beautiful line that's sellable and that people want to wear. So that can definitely be a big challenge.
That's great. So I'm only going to do one more question, and then we're going to open everything up to Q&A. So this time I'll start with Betty at the end of the table. What skills do you use every day that you may not have learned in college? A lot of students here are right out of school, and they're feeling like, what am I missing? What am I going to use that I wish that I had learned when I was still in school?
Oh. Well, when I think about graduate school, mainly undergraduate school was a process to get me where I wanted to be. I did a baccalaureate in nursing, so it did give me some tangible skills for moving later. But as I transitioned into more international health work and rights, one of the areas that I did not get through either of the professional tracks, be it nursing or midwifery, was the skill set for advocacy and how to make those advocacy relationships and strategies to push and move for change. Also, when you are actually educated as a healthcare provider that's facility-based, you don't get real skills in how to engage communities, how to work with communities. Cultural competence was never part of the curriculum. That I had to develop on my own. And the whole idea of organizing skills, managing time, managing competing demands professionally, that's another one that is not part of the
Time management isn't taught at Parsons or in new schools, so I can believe that.
So those are just a few that really stand out in my mind.
Those are great. It's a great list. Jenny, did you feel like after you got out of school and when you started, as a young assistant designer, that you felt there were skills that you wish you had known going into the industry?
Definitely. I actually always knew I wanted to start my own business, so I decided to go to business school before I went to fashion school, and then I went to FIT after business school. I think the sad state of affairs is even going to business school, you never really got the concept of planning a budget, or even, for that matter, writing a business plan, which is just so important if you're interested in starting any kind of company. I really recommend it, but I've gone through the years just trying to do internet research, meet people, get feedback. The business plan can be this strange, kind of mysterious thing. And that was something I really didn't learn anything about in business school, which I think is so strange actually after the fact. And also fashion school didn't really provide that information either, and I definitely think that could be an interesting addition to curriculum. I mean, any fashion designer may want to start their own business. I think everyone has a desire that's going to some sort of art school to produce their own art. So it's all those things are very helpful. The last thing is more of a personality trait and kind of, learning as you go along. But the idea of perseverance, I just think that's something that people don't really talk enough about in terms of how much rejection you're going to face launching your own company and challenges. And I just really encourage that you have your focus and do have a very, strict idea of what your focus is for the future plans of your business, but also stick to it and just know, even if times are tough, you're really going to make it through this time, and slowly build success. And each setback is actually something that's just an amazing learning lesson you would never learn in a classroom or from a teacher. So definitely don't get too discouraged.
Yeah, and definitely the brands that persevere are the ones that really stand the test of time.